children growing up, poor people, my God. And I see my daughter, she practically, one screen here, one screen there, and it's just living on that iPhone, The iPhone is, it's the second latest version, Oh, what a degradation. You have to upgrade, The internet world is calling, upgrade. I have still this Windows popping up on the screen, upgrade this, upgrade Java, and I always go, I will not upgrade. It's like war against somebody is always in your computer and asking you to do something. It's so abusive. It's so it's so shameless. They read you, they check you. There's even on the internet there's actually a sketch which is just demonstrating it. A man has a tent in a field and he's reading people's minds. Please come, I will read your mind. And people sit behind the table and he goes, I see a big house with a mortgage on it, right? And the lady goes, how do you know? And I see, long distance to work, hard to cope with every morning, right? How do you know? And then suddenly half of the tent is a white, sheet. It collapses and there's a whole gang of people just hacking and reading and disseminating the information into the headphones of their particular mind reader. So it's like, shows you, watch out, they are out there. They know every move you do. No problem. So this is the result of freedom in the material world. This is a liberation they start. Liberation of information, liberation of movement, but actually you know less. As they say, you cannot see the forest because of so many trees. So you know exactly the chemical consistency of each single needle on a tree, but you don't know where it belongs, you don't know where it came from, and you don't know what is the meaning of it, really. So therefore in Krishna consciousness, that's the real place where you get the real picture. Where does it come from? What is it meant for? And what is my position in it? What I'm doing here? And what is the meaning of it? Just being showered with meaningless information. I don't have to know the chemical composition of a needle on a tree. I don't have to know even how many trees are in that forest. I have to know only one way how to get out of it. Because I'm lost now. We are all lost. And we try to gather information, the more information we gather, the more lost we are. So actually, the more and more education goes on, the more ignorance prevails. So Krishna consciousness is opposite. Therefore Prabhupada said it's simple for the simple ones and complicated for the complicated ones. Why to make it complicated? Prabhupada took something very, very complex, Vedic literatures, the whole body, and summarized it in such a way so even us, the down lecturers, can get access to it and get some information what to do so we can get out of this material world. That's genius. Genius means you take something very complex and you present it in one formula. Like, scientists would agree. Like Mr. Einstein wrote one formula, it's not very big, like this. Oh, that's it. So we have one formula, Hare Krishna mantra. That's it, all summarized. That's it. That's genius. But as the tendency goes in a condition, so you try to reverse the process and make it more and more complicated in the name of acquiring more knowledge. I have to know what the Gopas ate on Tuesday for the breakfast. And no, you don't have to know. Devotees ask Prabhupada these kind of questions, how do they digest in the spiritual world? As Prabhupada said, either he had two answers for that. This is not for you. And the look you got was deadly. Don't make that offense to squeeze yourself somewhere you don't belong. Or he just said, you have to go there and look. Meaning that actually you should dedicate yourself to the process how to go there, not gathering unnecessary informations which you cannot handle anyway. There's no need to teach a child in the first grade of a school about arithmetics and this and that. He will just go, that's nice pictures, that's all. What does he know? So this process, academic process of learning more and getting puffed up more, it's completely destructive to Krishna consciousness. We have to be properly situated, we have to be properly located, we have to understand the time, place and circumstances and proceed with proper means. And in this way, we will be less agitated. Why to increase the level of agitation? By being a fool who dash in there where the angels don't dare. Why not just take it simply and proceed every day enthusiastically and patiently? That's the science actually. That requires knowledge. Because enthusiasm comes more than patience. But where is the patience? Or we try to be patient, but we are not doing really anything. So these two extremes we should avoid. Mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Basically that's what it is. Because being enthusiastic and patient, that requires modes of goodness. There's some questions or points there.
You said one should understand one's position. Are you then speaking about our spiritual position or also our material position?
Material. Arjuna was required in order to serve Krishna to be properly situated. So first, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is challenging his material side. He points out to him, they will laugh about you when you retreat like this because you are a kshatriya. And then he is coming more and more clear by telling him straight, it's your duty, even as a kshatriya. That is not actually spiritual. That refers to the material body. But, be situated and then serve me from there. Of course, not just being materially situated, but it's amazing when you find even amongst the kamis people who are somewhat acting according to their varna, nature, they emanate far more peace as those who fight it. And academic education is destroying it. It gives you ideas you shouldn't have, it puts you in a position you shouldn't be. Prabhupada called the schools the slaughterhouses of intelligence, because it takes your brain out. You don't understand even who you are, you don't understand how you should be placed. So both things are required. It's very tough to chant and continue in Krishna consciousness when you are not properly situated. But one cannot expect that people will do that the first moment they walk in the door. So we first tell them chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. That's the first thing. And as they chant, they preferably, they should, if they chant properly, understand the need to be properly situated. Because as you realize you are not the body, the chanting lifts you out from the body, you also can see what kind of body you are not. Because people don't even understand what kind of body they are not. They think they are the body and they think they are the wrong body. It cannot get worse. They don't even think I am the right body. They think I am the wrong body. It cannot get worse. It cannot get more confused. They don't know nothing about spiritual life and material, they are also confused. But when you come in a situation, you can see it in kamis, when they get more like people assume positions, and any manager, even the material field, will strive for it. You look into the structure of these companies and this, they come sometimes so close to Varnashram, but not the day we Varnashram down. There is no God. But there is at least an arrangement, he will be the manager. He will be the cleaner, managing in his field. Everybody is managing something, But he will be the cleaner. And he will be the PR man, expert, one of the most important people in a big company is called, I don't know what's the English word is. It's called Personalabteilung in Germany. That's the guy who will see this person can be engaged like this. You apply for a job, he will have a talk with him, and he will see, this is how you could. That means he has to know all the picture, the whole company, the needs, and he will see. I had one school director lady, it was her private school like this. I went for a talk, it's a long story, but I ended up sitting in a room, kind of, not even applying, just checking out how it would be first time in my life to have a job. As a grihastha, you are confronted with this kind of situations. So I was just sitting there and she just talked to me. And then, and I was waiting, when is the test coming? Some paper or what? No paper, she just talked to me. For 1 hour. And after 1 hour she said, you are hired immediately. And I said, from what? I was joking, I said, my dear lady, I don't have one paper, I didn't tell her straight out I'm Hare Krishna, but I said, I stopped my studies in a very early stage. The rest of the time I traveled all over the world. And she said, yeah, that's the reason you are hired. I can hear it, I can see it. And I said, yeah, but teaching what? Teaching whom? She said, don't worry, I will arrange for that. She just gave me a room, and she just put people in that room. Exactly the right people. And the wildest assortment of people I ever met. Even ISKCON cannot compete with that. Wild people, from a 72 years old, retired university lady, up to a 13 years old eccentric boy, anything flies, and they were all wanted to speak English and German. Actually, they didn't, sometimes they didn't, and I had to handle this kind of totally bizarre situations. But when you come from the street, from Sankirtan, there's no surprise. What? Who can surprise me with what? I had ladies who were conversing in English with me, telling me, I got pregnant. I said, yeah, I know, so what? And it was, I told the director lady, this is not about teaching languages, this is ridiculous. I'm just sitting here and talking, and they are just talking. And I even manipulated the conversation because I was tired to talk about ladies getting pregnant, so I just, pregnancy, birth. Yes, after birth comes old age, isn't it? And disease and death. Yes. And they joined in, They were thinking it's all English conversation. And they end up all, and then after a while they asked me, where did you get all these ideas from? And I said, it's an old book called Bhagavad Gita, And I ended up selling Bhagavad Gitas in that office, in full view of the director of the school. And I asked her, they never called me Hare Krishna, they called me the man from India. And then, I told her, it gets a little bit religious here also down the road, And she said, as long as they are all happy and they pay the fees, you can do any damn thing you want here. Thank you very much. Are they happy? Yeah, they are very happy. Okay, let's keep on going. So it was like 1 year, this kind of thing. But it gave you a glimpse of this. How people actually are wrong already when they are materially wrong in the situation. How much misery they derive from that. Like all these ladies I talked to, there was wives of the top managers in Czech Republic. Chief of the Shell, company, in Czech branch, things like that. So they had no lack of money, but and they were very sophisticated. They came from a highly academic fields, but at the end they told me, the big news, I'm pregnant. Woo! That was the real issue. So to be situated, why not? Why are people playing these games? It's such a violence to put people there where they don't belong. But we should not replay the whole thing in Krishna consciousness by screwing ourselves up in the higher regions, and then what we are going to do there. You know what, I think it was Jagannath Babaji who said this about hypocrites. He said, he was very sharp, very heavy in his statements. He said, some of these gurus here, they just want to have a big, big Vyasa and very, very high. So it produces a very special sound when they pass through from that Vyasa. The very, very plain, plain. Bengalis can be actually quite down to the earth, Just tear down the curtain of hypocrisy. That's actually what Prabhupada did also, and what Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj did. It's painful, because people like to be cheated. It's a cheaters and cheated game. So that's not what we came here for. I don't just be. And we don't even know. I didn't know what I am when I came to Krishna consciousness. I said, I'm a very subtle and gentle person, yes. I am very artistic. After 2 weeks of Sankirtan, I realized, no, I like something very different. I'm not subtle at all. I like to go and mush up some German to give him a book. And I like it. And then it was a completely different thing. Entirely different thing coming out. Which for 18 years of my life was just completely underlit. Squeezed, pressed down, concealed. Prabhupada opened it and I was myself amazed. Oh, look what's coming out. So that's what they told us in the school. What the parents told us. This doesn't have to be relevant at all. Even your father, when he was visiting here, so he's seeing you, I told him, oh, he is the best cleaner we have in the house. And he said, he never did this before, because there was probably periods of your life I wouldn't like to look into the room you were living in.
Definitely.
It's gravity. It's called gravity, which responds to the weak tape applied. And don't apply stronger tape because stronger tape takes the color and the wallpaper out of the wall. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, in ISKCON we have now maybe almost 1 million members. And
I don't know who is counting.
Yeah.
That counting, attempt to count since 40 years. It's difficult to count. Prabhupada had simple definition when a reporter asked him, how big is ISKCON? He said, as big as you can say. And then, quick, thank you.
Yeah, then Prabhupada wanted this Varnashram college implementation. How much it is important, how much it is going on?
Yeah, well, the first important thing is that we have a spiritual leadership. And leadership involves not just, we are still, after all this year, sitting in the information booth, We should maybe try to get out of that information booth. Welcome to Krishna consciousness. Welcome to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, okay, I'm welcome, I'm here, what I'm supposed to do? Well, welcome to Krishna consciousness. You sit also in an information booth, and you also welcome a very good, welcome, come in, welcome. So I'm here, what shall I do? Just sit here. Welcome. Well, my Goba is called the ISKCON pipe. It's like, welcome to the pipe. You go in, and then, bye-bye. The other end is open, so you just go, transit. It's all transit here. Now you can get a great benefit in transit by chanting a holy name even for a while. Great, but it would be nice a little bit to have somebody living in that pipe too, and conducting their lives in a constructive way so we can build up something. And we are always constructing information offices. Welcome, but then what? And that's where Varnashram Dharma comes into the picture. That's where people should understand. I changed my life, now I will conduct my life under these terms. I'm not speaking about physical occasions here. That we should pile up devotees in a temple until they fall out of the window. That's not the idea at all. Prabhupada actually made it very clear, if those actually would listen, those they should listen, we would have a little bit less problems. Understanding that the temple is an information office. Yes, it's an information booth. What comes next? I'm speaking about these few serious people. There are not that many as we think. We may count in millions, but this is all coming going, But those who really want to do something for Prabhupada's mission, who stay around and who mold their lives along that mission, there are not so many. But we should actually be impressing upon people the fact, this is a serious thing. You situate yourself properly, you conduct your life properly, it's for whole life. And, the process is forever. Not just for this life, it's a serious thing. It's not something you just, oh, wow, far out, bye-bye. No. So our old GBC used to say, when you look 40 years around and somebody is standing in a kirtan still, that's a devotee. This. So it's a process to be situated. So we offer information. Office means you offer different chances. Here, you can try this, try that. And then finally, the final thing is to be situated and progress with proper means. That's the real thing. You don't give up the process. And it takes a time for people being situated. Okay, huh?
Now another question coming into my mind is just so now it's time for ISKCON to start expanding these things and going into these fields of
it was always the time.
Yeah. But it's not so it's not
leadership. We need leadership. So we are leadership now, we have a leadership, let's say, on a small scale. And so forth, it's kind of here and there something popping up. Krishna says, very simple. Whatever the great man is doing, the small man follows. Huh? Leadership. And you can say, oh, people don't want to accept leadership. Essentially spoken, it's not true. We just fail again and again to convince people that here you can get leadership means shelter. And of course we cannot force people. If they don't want it, then do your own thing, fine. But at least we should have a firm and clear alternatives for people. And those who are serious, they like that. They think, oh, that's like Prabhupada was very authoritative. And so many chaotic, anarchistic hippies joined. Why? It doesn't make actually any sense whatsoever. Prabhupada never told them, come here, oh, it's going to be flower in the hair, let's go back to God. What do you like to do? I like sometimes to smoke nice, very nice. That's what the cheating gurus are doing. They find out what you want and they go, very nice. Dakshin, thank you very much for the money. And people pay for this to get cheated. This was all the process Prabhupada installed. And then there are those who are serious. They think, wow, it's heavy to take the truth. But when you go for it, the benefit is immense. That's the real thing. And Prabhupada was not dogmatic. He was accommodating in that sense. He said, okay, like example, brahmachari, you cannot do this, then there's a grihastha. Yeah, sure. It's absolutely respectable. If you cannot conduct your life under these circumstances, take this. One wife. And then go for it. Well, you will find there's so much purification to get. So, it's Prabhupada gave these options. So it's so important to be situated properly. Because otherwise, and in the beginning it's a little bit like, we put everybody like, Sankirtan ki jai. So that's how we used to compare it. You put a pot and cook the soup, Sankirtan, the fire of Sankirtan. And when you are young, it's always powered by passion. Let's face it. So that's right, because here you can invest your passion. Cook it. But he said something nice that what you can really see what's in that soup is when you stop cooking. When the flame is, then the soup cools down and you can see actually what's inside. Sometimes you find out it's not much, but it's something. So let's work with that what we have, not with that what we are dreaming about. And when you honestly take whatever Krishna gave you and you use it for him, you will get more. Because our process is not just to cook up more. Our process is just, wait with what we have. Krishna, look, that's what I got. Please accept this. And Krishna says, oh, he's humble, he's grateful, he wants to serve me, I give him more. I saw very simple devotees being empowered to the degree you cannot imagine. It's obviously not their achievement. It was given to them. Why? Because Krishna is like a careful father. He doesn't give you too much, you will get puffed up. So he gives a little bit and he's watching. Huh? What are you doing with it? And you go, oh, thank you very much. Now I can serve you better. And then he's again watching, okay? Then he gives him more. And then at a certain point you can say, so much. You did a good job, come on. Big time. Look at me. And Krishna goes, you know what? It's like an air mattress, you know. Then you go, finished. Then you realize, not much to go on here, help! And Krishna goes, shall we pump it a little bit more? Without you getting pumped up? It's a whole process of education. This is called, process. This is called approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can only say, keep on approaching. There will be a period you feel like, wow, boom, Krishna, here we go. And there will be periods where you go, Krishna, there's a little oxygen I need to breathe. There's not much left here. This is all a question of development. Sometimes devotees think, oh, I lost all the air, no more power supply, I'm falling down. No, this is a part of the progress. To realize you have to be more dependent on Krishna. There's this, what is an 11th canto of Markandeya Rishi, I think. The universal destruction coming, He was a powerful yogi, powerful, and then came all the water, the whole universe getting flooded, and with his whole power he was completely helpless. He was just floating around, until there was only one thing left to do, to scream, Krishna, help! And then Krishna appeared to him on a leaf as a baby. It's this state of helplessness and taking shelter in Krishna. That's what Krishna tries to bring us to. And, so we get this. So it's an educational process. The major thing is that we are in the process. And it never stops. You think, I'm an old mature devotee. I can wake up and give a lecture, they will all faint. Ha! Wake me up midnight, I can give you a lecture, you will remember your whole life. Try to do this. You wake up and you go, Prabhu Sake, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And you go, Krishna says, Krishna, Krishna can make it worse. You say, now I will say something very important. You go, oh my God, that was one of the most stupid things I ever heard. I cannot be even stupid naturally. This is divine. I'm an empowered idiot. Krishna can completely block it. That's so nice to give lectures because you never know what you get. You can prepare yourself, you can be drum. So what? Yeah, you can prepare, you can rumble down the thing, but the fact is that the audience is deeply asleep. But the real thing comes when you think, oh wow, thank you Krishna for that. Oh, thank you. Oh. Of course there has to be a substantial hearing before you have something to draw from. But even when you don't have sufficient to draw from, Krishna can give you. Think, wow. This is actually ultimately how it works in Krishna consciousness. If Krishna gives, we can take. If he doesn't give, we have nothing to give. Listen. So there's a whole science how we get Krishna's mercy. Starting with the first thing to get spiritual guidance. Spiritual guidance actually doesn't mean to give you, I have this, I give you. It means actually to connect you. So you can get. Therefore sometimes you find even a Shastra, even the spiritual master is impressed with the disciple. Great! Wow, nice! Very wonderful! When you read Prabhupada's letters to his disciples, you get it more and more. How Prabhupada was appreciating a disciple got connected and he did some powerful preaching and Prabhupada was appreciating, practically on the level of a V2 preachers.
When you mentioned this, we shouldn't just